Welcome. I'm Karen Ermel, President and CEO of Sangre de Cristo Hospice and Palliative Care. We serve a very diverse area, from the eastern plains to the mountains, 20,000 square miles, and it's made up of a melting pot of people, every nationality, every culture, every religion. Our programs also are designed to be diverse for every disease need, disease process throughout the area. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time and hear our stories.
And can you tell me what hospice is?
It's a place where you go to die.
It's not a good thing. Hospice?
No, I don't. Hospice care? I heard of it, but I'm not really familiar with it.
If you have nowhere to go and you've been really injured and you're pretty much just waiting to die and you have nowhere else to go.
Oh, to me, hospice has been a miracle, actually. They've been there, they've helped me physically, emotionally, with all my aspects of life.
My experience with hospice was a misconception. I thought it was just for people passing with cancer. I don't know why I thought that. That's all I ever heard. I didn't realize it was anything to do with palliative care, the end-time care of a person.
In the beginning, we selected Sangre de Cristo Hospice because of my mother. I talked to my mom about it, and she said, I know one thing, that you need help. Well, the most important thing that Sangre de Cristo Hospice did was giving me the time off. You know, my mom, she was thrilled when Sangre de Cristo Hospice came in. It gave her a little different outlet. People would come in, especially the volunteers, and she had somebody different to talk to. The CNA at that time, my mom and this gal, they kidded each other. They had the most fun. So I know my mom was very pleased and very happy to have them. I just don't know how anybody could not want Sangre de Cristo Hospice in time of need.
When my father was diagnosed, he was stage 4, he was end stage. Hospice was the appropriate referral for him. The benefits that we saw for my dad were he was able to come home. He didn't want to die in a hospital. He wanted to be at home with my mom, my brother and my sister, myself, and all his grandkids. My expectations were high, and they met every one of those expectations with compassion, with care, with dignity. They just took really good care of my dad. You know, they listened, they provided spiritual support for not only him, but for his kids and his wife. And they also sent people out daily to help my mom with, you know, normal, everyday kind of things that you really can't do when you're taking care of someone who's into life. And they were a shoulder to cry on. With them taking on that responsibility, that gave us more time to sit with him and spend really good quality time, and we didn't have to worry about, well, did he get this? Did he do his medication? What, you know, did you do that? We had someone else who was able to take care of that for us, and we spent more time with him. What they helped us do was, when my daddy was still in the hospital, he wanted to go home and he wanted to be in his home and see the sunrise. And when he got home on Saturday morning, he was able to see the sunrise on Saturday morning, and that's what he wanted. And he died 2 days later.
My son had been diagnosed terminal, and in the 4 months since I received the diagnosis, I was just struggling. The most important thing that they offer to the whole family unit is support. The courage to have the conversations that you never imagined you would have to have. Our physician, Dr. Sloan, is absolutely a phone call away. And the first time he walked into the home and sat on the edge of the bed with me as we were trying to figure out how to make Ryan comfortable, I was so relieved to know that I wasn't by myself. And Ryan was so relieved when he looked up and said, Dr. Sloan, hi. And they're there. It's a family that you didn't know you had.
The whole team, actually, I'm with, they've been a huge blessing. Just by being there, by helping me and my family deal with it. Deal with the reality that I'm facing. You can't run away from it. You have to face it. But just know that there is hope.
They're not closing a chapter. They're helping you walk to the next chapter.
If it hadn't been for Sangre de Cristo Hospice, I don't know if I could have made it. And I don't know if I could have kept my mom at home as long as I did. It saved me, basically.
They didn't know us. They didn't know who my dad was. They didn't know who I was. The care and concern of the staff, and I was just in shock simply because that doesn't happen in other facilities.
When you need to make that phone call, make it. Don't be afraid. If you're a patient in hospice or your family in hospice seeing this, don't be afraid. You have to know that hospice is hope. Have that mindset that hospice is hope.
I think it's a benefit because we can even use it with, children and teens whose loved one is, recently diagnosed with a terminal illness, or, maybe it's a change. Maybe they're now in a nursing home and they've lived with the family, or maybe they are living with the family now. And so just different way to reach out to children and teens instead of, just sitting one-to-one across a table.
What do you think is their power? What makes them go?
Well, there's an old saying, and I'm not sure if I have this totally right, but I think it was attributed to Will Rogers, that the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man, and a boy, girl, kid. And there's just something about it that's hard to explain, that working with an animal like this helps open up things inside of a person emotionally.
Tell us about the emotion that you picked up.
I picked a blank one because I don't really know what to feel.
Okay.
My grandpa died. I don't know what to feel.
They can tell the horse anything, and when they leave here, they've relieved themselves of those feelings, and they may still have them, but it can be a way for them to release, whatever emotions they came with today.
People have been maybe in traditional therapy for 6 months, and then one equine session just start pouring out things that the therapist couldn't get out in 6 months in a regular therapy. And it's not that the therapist was bad, it's just the horses are so good.
Thank God for the blessing of longevity. The Old Testament longevity was a sign of God's grace and His blessings. So I would say that lived a good life, my friend. Praise God.
One of the greatest gifts that we have, and one of the most beautiful works of charity, is to be able to accompany someone to the home of the Father, and to have a place that with care, with love, with dignity, tries to do just that, is a real blessing. It's a real grace.
Never thought I'd see the day. And like I told my daughters, that guys would turn over in their grave if they'd seen that. I never expected that.
To have this available in a very special way, cooperating with the doctors, and and giving the families a sense of that their loved ones are truly being cared for in a very unique way, because at the moment of this moment of life, there's unique needs, and to have that is a real grace.
Well, for me, I would say it's not even one or two instances, because every day the care is there, and anything that's needed is done.
And hospice and the medical field and the church, all of us have a responsibility to one another to keep that in mind and to safeguard that.
Thank you for spending time and listening to these stories. I hope that one of them touched your heart, and when it comes your time or the time of one of your loved ones, you'll call Sangre de Cristo Hospice and let us stand through these difficult times with you.